Hey everyone, welcome to the video. Let's go over the 4-game NBA slate for today on Draftkings. And I gotta be honest, not looking forward to it too much. It's the smallest slate for one, and it's kind of a sucky slate for two. So, not the most exciting slate in the world, but we're still gonna be breaking it down. But before we continue, as always, if you guys could just leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. Really helps me out. Really appreciate it. You also follow me over on Twitter. I'm at ChrisPennell16. And if you just come over on Patreon, it's always much appreciated. You get access to any of the extra content that I put out every single night or every single week, just depending on the sport. For example, for NBA, I preview my sheet to you guys, but I go more in depth and I update it all the way up until lock throughout the day for all my Patreon members. And you could also get access to my private Discord chat where you can talk to me all day in there. You can bug me as much as you want. I don't care, whatever you want to do. And it's still in the beginning of the month, so it's still the best time to sign up. You get access to my projections, my data sheet, my cheat sheet. Everything's color coded, my core plays, and all that good stuff. And my projections, I had a guy that's in my Patreon. He just uploaded my projections to an optimizer, hit optimize, and however many lineups, he ended up taking first place on one of the late slates a couple days ago. So if you want access to all that stuff, links in the description below. Then I have my NASCAR that I do articles for, spreadsheets, bunch of stuff for NASCAR. I absolutely love NASCAR. Even if you guys have no idea about anything about NASCAR, I think I teach it to you guys pretty well. So check it out if you want. Then we have MLB coming up in around 20 days, 21 days. So very, very excited for MLB. I'm still contemplating if I want to do an article every single day, but I'll definitely have my huge spreadsheet. I have a huge spreadsheet for MLB. Lots of numbers. I have a lot of statistics. It's really, really massive. So I'm very excited for MLB, and also I have my Discord chat for everything. So if you guys want to check it out, like I said, links in the description below. And without further ado, let's get into today's slate. So not a lot of players here because it is a smaller slate. So that means a shorter video, which I know probably some of you are happy about. But anyway, James Harden, he's up top at 10,700. Still seems a bit cheap. Now I know he has been ailing the past week. He's not been performing very well, especially considering his price tag. But 10,700 still feels a bit cheap for James Harden. Now I know he's not been playing that well, but I'm willing to take a shot here because this should be the highest over/under on the slate. I can't imagine the Toronto Golden State games as high as 237, and then the Denver-Charlotte game is not even going to get close to 237. So this should be the top game for DFS purposes, just for how many points are going to be scored. Obviously we should have some interest in James Harden. It's only a 1-point spread as well. So I think this is going to be, this should be the best game of the night. And both teams play fast. They're both top 10 in pace of play. We know Harden's numbers are great on the season. 1.61 points per minute with a 36.5% usage rate. I will say, though, that number is coming down, and Westbrook's number is coming up. Harden, up until the midpoint of the season, he was close to 1.7 points per minute. That's been dipping to 1.61, and Westbrook was around lower 1.3. That's getting close to 1.4. So these numbers are kind of meeting in the middle, I should say. But I still think they're both fine plays. We know Harden's got insane upside. If he's hitting his threes, he can always have one of those 70, 80-point games. So I will say it is a little bit concerning. He's not been performing that well. But his price tag is below 11K. If he's above 11K, I'm probably going to take a pass. But when you're in the 10K range for James Harden, I'll certainly have interest. He's going to play all the minutes he can handle. This is going to be a big, important game, especially versus the Clippers. So, yeah, I like James Harden. If you look at the matchup versus the Clippers, they're a pretty solid defensive squad, if I can find them. But they do rank 14th versus shooting guards, so it's more mid-pack. They really struggle versus big men, which is a shame that they don't really have a center besides P.J. Tucker. But yeah, James Harden, I think he's going to be fine here. Definitely want exposure to that game. Then you got his teammate, the second guy of the dynamic duo here. We have Russell Westbrook, 10K. I actually said his name. I always want to say Russell Westbrook. I don't know. It's just so hard to say his name for me. But I think because I'm thinking of Russell Wilson. But maybe that was, I don't know. Either way, I don't know. I just struggle saying his name quick. But Russell Westbrook, again, he's kind of the same play as James Harden. If you just look on the surface, his numbers are not as strong as James Harden. So you'd kind of just I think James Harden's a much easier play than Russell Westbrook. But Westbrook's been playing, for the most part, a lot better. I know he's really struggled in the last game. I think he only had 39 fantasy points. But for the most part recently, Russell Westbrook's been the better play because he's also been a bit cheaper, and he's pretty much been performing as good, if not better, than James Harden. He's going to play all the minutes he can handle. Currently got him projected for half a minute more, which, they're pretty much going to play the same amount of minutes. But on the season, 1.39 points per minute, 34.2% usage rate. Both are elite plays in my opinion. It's going to be a fast-paced game, 1-point spread. A lot of points are going to be scored. Matchup versus the Clippers, it's more middle of the road here. They rank, 10th versus point guards, but I don't really care about the matchup too much for Russell Westbrook because he's kind of matchup proof. And he's got triple-double upside, both these guys do, so you can certainly look both of their way. I don't know if you're going to be able to fit in both of these guys, so if you had to pick one, I usually just lean James Harden because I just feel safer with James Harden, but I totally understand if you just want to play Westbrook. But both are fine. Nikola Jokic, 9,500. I like Nikola Jokic quite a bit. Now, I was worried about a blowout, but it's only a 7-point spread, so I don't think that's going to be concerned. The only concern here is this game environment. It's pretty much as bad as you can get. Both teams are bottom 3 in pace of play. Nuggets are 28th in pace, while Charlotte is 30th. Like, that is pretty bad. It's going to be a sucky game environment. I don't expect a lot of points to be scored. There's no total out yet, but it would not surprise me if it's around 210. Do not expect a lot of points to be scored. But Nikola Jokic, a big man versus Charlotte, yeah, you got to have interest. I mean, he's one of the best centers in the league, and he's going up against the second best matchup, or third best matchup. They're 28th versus centers. Man, that Atlanta versus centers number just keeps on dropping. It was like around 20, then it went to like mid-20s. Now we're almost down to the bottom number. I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up taking over Chicago for the 30 spot, but yeah, we'll see. But yeah, Charlotte, they suck down low. They're ranked 26th versus power forwards, 28th versus centers. So yeah, Nikola Jokic, he's in an awesome spot. He's also below 10K, so I think this is a pretty good price for him. And we know the guy's got massive upside. If this game stays close and he plays mid-30s minutes, I don't see how he doesn't smash. He's got triple-double upside like Westbrook and Harden. He's at 1.44 points per minute in the season, 26.9% usage rate. I think Nikola Jokic is a fantastic play. He feels like a good safe cash game play, and I think he's fine in tournaments as well. So Nikola Jokic certainly have some interest. Kawhi Leonard, 9,300. I didn't originally have him on here because I just don't really like playing Kawhi Leonard that much. But this is going to be a really good game for DFS purposes. I mean, 1-point spread, 237 total. Both teams are top 10 in pace of play. Leonard's got big upside. It's a big game, so I expect him to try his hardest. And on the season, he's at 1.5 points per minute. Now, he doesn't play huge minutes. Like, he's not going to play like 38 minutes like Westbrook and Harden can do, but he's a good point per minute wise, 33.5% usage rate. And again, I want exposure to this game. Now, if you look at the DVP chart, Houston's pretty trashy versus forwards. They rank 28th versus shooting guards, 24th versus small forwards, 28th versus power forwards. Now, the addition of Robert Covington obviously is going to help them out a little bit on the wings, but yeah, Kawhi Leonard, I think he's going to be fine. So I think you can certainly look his way. He's one of the top spend-ups of the slate. But I feel safer with Nikola Jokic. Yes, I do. So if you had to pick between these two, I'm going with Jokic. But I wouldn't fault you for wanting to play Leonard and just getting exposure to that game. Because, again, I know this Jokic game sucks for the game environment-wise. Like, it's going to be slow. I don't expect a high total whatsoever. It wouldn't surprise me if it's over 20 points off this one, so off the Clippers-Houston game. So, but I still think he's going to be fine. I like both options. De'Aaron Fox, he comes in at 8K. I just recommend this guy a lot. Probably too much because he doesn't usually pay off. But he had a 40-point game last time out, so we'll let it slide a little bit. Not a fantastic game. I just feel like he's going to drop 50 points every single slate, and he doesn't. So I don't know. Maybe that's my problem, but I don't mind him here. Not going to play monster 40 minutes, but I still think he pay off his price tag as long as he gets around 32, 34 minutes. Now, the matchup versus Philly, on paper, it sucks. If you look at the DVP chart, they're ranked 2nd versus point guards, 5th versus shooting guards. But also know that they're missing a lot of pieces on defense. They're missing Josh Richardson. They're missing Ben Simmons. They're missing Joel Embiid, all capable defenders. So it softens up a bit. So I'm willing to look De'Aaron Fox's way. We only have a 5-point spread here, 222 total. Not great, but it's not like it's going to be as low as the Charlotte-Denver game. And if you look at his numbers on the season, he's at 1.21 points per minute. That's not too bad, near 30% usage rate. So De'Aaron Fox, he's fine. When I play him in cash games, I mean, maybe, but I think he's a stronger tournament play. Steph Curry, so this is probably the most interesting piece on the slate because we have no idea how many minutes he's going to play. I checked. I went on Twitter. I went on Fantasy Labs. I checked. It says there's no confirmation of how many minutes he's going to play. So I say he probably plays anywhere from 25 minutes to 35 minutes. I don't know. He might be full go. It's not like it was a leg injury where he's got to work himself back like he hasn't been running. I'm sure he's been running, doing something. It was just a hand-wrist injury. I forget exactly what it was, but so I wouldn't expect it to be a cardio issue. Now, again, playing in a real game compared to practice or just doing individual drills is obviously way different. So we'll see. They'll probably be a little bit cautious, keep him under 30 minutes. But if there's news that he's full go, I mean, at 8K, Steph Curry at 8K, full go. I mean, come on, it's kind of like a layup play. We play Steph Curry when he's above 10K easily. So again, keep your eyes out for the minutes news on him. I'm sure we'll get one eventually, hopefully before lock. He's at the 10:30 game, so I don't know. Maybe we're not going to get it before lock. So, but you can have some pivots ready because if you play De'Aaron Fox, actually that'd probably be the perfect pivot. So say you play De'Aaron Fox in your point guard slot, and then like at 9:30 p.m. we get news that Steph Curry's full go, 35 minutes, whatever. You can just switch him to Curry. It's as simple as that. So I think that's if you want to play Curry, but you're not sure about the minutes, you can play De'Aaron Fox, and if Curry ends up getting the minutes limit, like 25 minutes, you play De'Aaron Fox. It's as simple as that. So I actually think that might be a smart way to go tonight. But yeah, even if although there's a question though, if maybe Steph Curry only gets 25 minutes, will you still play him at 8K? I think people will because he's Steph Curry. He can pay off his price tag still, but I just don't like playing guys on minutes limit. So we'll see. It's an interesting situation. It's kind of just personal preference. Hopefully we can get a minutes limit news, or hopefully it'd be kind of fun if he didn't have a minutes limit because at 8K, I mean, he'd probably be pretty chalky. But yeah, so Steph Curry, I mean, his numbers on the season, 1.4 points per minute, 33.9% usage rate. D'Lo's off the court now, so I mean, it's just him and Andrew Wiggins. So it would be the Steph Curry show if he's a full go, but again, I have no idea. All right, right below me, we have Al Horford. He comes in at 7K. And again, I just have some of these 76ers listed just because there's a lack of bodies on this team. You don't have Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Josh Richardson. I mean, you got guys like Mike Scott starting now. It's pretty gross over there. So Al Horford, he's going to play around 35 minutes. He's 7K, which feels a bit expensive, but I think he's a safe bet for around 33 to 40 fantasy points with upside of more. Now, this matchup versus Sacramento is not great. They're very good versus big men. They struggle versus forwards and guards, and they're pretty good versus big men. They're ranked first versus power forwards and fifth versus centers, but I still think Al Horford's going to be fine just because sometimes you got to look past the matchup and you got to focus on how many minutes they're going to get and all the guys that are off the court. I mean, you take all those guys off the court, he's well over a point per minute. On the season, he's at 0.97 points per minute. That's 17% usage rate. You take all those guys off the court, he's well over a point per minute. You don't have to worry about that. And he's got over a 20% usage rate. So Al Horford, I think he's fine despite the bad matchup, and he's going to get increased minutes. So I don't mind Horford. Norman Powell, as you can see, I got him projected for low minutes here, but this is assuming Van Vliet plays. So actually, Toronto is another interesting situation on this slate because they could change the whole slate. So you got Van Vliet questionable, you got Marcus Sol questionable, and you also got Serge Ibaka questionable. Those are some pretty important pieces on the Raptors. So if Ibaka's out, Van Vliet's out, Gasol's out, we can up quite a few people. So Norman Powell, really the only one that affects him too much is Fred Van Vliet. So if Van Vliet's out, Powell's going to get those mid-30s minutes. I mean, you could just pretty much sub in Van Vliet's minutes for Norman Powell pretty much. And Powell, I mean, he's been pretty much a rock solid play, plug and play kind of guy. When Van Vliet misses, I know his price is getting up there at 6,600. I mean, I feel way more comfortable with him in that 5K tier, but I'm still willing to play him at 6,600 because he's been playing very well, and there's just, when you take all those guys off the court for the Raptors, I mean, he's a pretty solid play. Good game environment here, I mean, especially with Steph Curry back. I mean, it obviously helps the total, which is not out yet, but I have to assume it's going to be decently high. If I had to guess, I'm not really sure what I'd guess. I think it's going to be in the mid-220s. I feel like I'm kind of good at guessing what these are going to be. I tend to get them, I don't know. I don't really know what I'd guess them. Probably mid-220s. But I might touch 230. I don't know. I'm not sure. But Norman Powell, I like him. I mean, if you just look at his regular numbers on the season, 0.92 points per minute, 21% usage rate. Take Van Vliet off, all those other guys, about point per minute. So Norman Powell, he'd be a good play as long as Van Vliet's out. But again, I have no idea. They're all questionable. So that's why I'm trying to go through scenarios with you guys. But if you look at the DVP chart, Golden State, this is an elite matchup versus Golden State. They rank 27 versus point guards and 26 versus shooting guards and 27 versus small forwards. So, very good matchup, whatever way you want to cut it up for the Raptors. Right below him, we got Van Vliet, who I have projected in right now. If he's in, he's going to play mid-30s minutes more than likely, and he's only 6,500. That's way too cheap. So, if Van Vliet's a full go, I feel like he's going to be an extremely chalky play because that's way too cheap for Van Vliet, and he's going to play a ton of minutes. And it's a good game environment, and he's over a point per minute on the season, 22% usage rate. You look at the DVP chart, Golden State, very, very bad on defense, as you can see. 26 versus shooting guards, 27 versus point guards. So Van Vliet would certainly be a very, very strong play as long as he's good to go. Terry Rozier, he comes in at 6,200. He was very chalky last game, ended up performing pretty well. Almost got the fire emoji on Draftkings. I think he had a turnover in like the last minute and then got rid of his fire emoji, which sucked because I love having fire emojis on my guy. It just makes me feel better. But he still did fine. But they did raise his price tag a little bit at 6,200, I believe. I want to say it was. Maybe they didn't raise it. I gotta check. I feel like he was in the 5K range, but they might have stayed the same. Okay, they only raised the 100. For some reason, I thought he was like 5,400, so that makes me feel a little bit better. So, I mean, if everyone wanted to play him with 100 less last game, I don't see why we want to play him again 100 more. Now, there is news we have to monitor. Again, there's a lot of news on this slate. For being a really small 4-game slate, there's a lot of news, which I guess makes it fun and interesting. But Devontae Graham, he is questionable. So if Graham is out, we got to like Rozier, because I know the matchup sucks versus Denver. This game environment sucks big time. And the matchup versus Denver, they rank first versus shooting guards and 7th versus point guards. So everything's telling you not to play anyone in this game. But sometimes we have to when guys are missing. That's what I care the most about, is minutes and point per minute production without those guys on the court. That's what matters the most. And if you got a good matchup, obviously that's a big boost. But the first thing I look at is, are you going to get extended minutes? Are guys off the court? You know, things like that. And that would be the case for Rozier, because we potentially have Devontae Graham out, and we know for sure that Malik Monk's going to be out. So Rozier would be in line for big minutes and increased opportunity, because if you take those guys off the court, so his regular numbers on the season, they're at 0.93 points per minute with a 23.6% usage rate. If you take both of those guys off the court, he's got a 30% usage rate and over a point per minute, 1.08 points per minute, I believe. So he's going to shoot the ball a ton, and he's going to have the ball in his hand a ton. So 6,200, despite the bad matchup and everything, I still think he's a fine play at 6,200. Now, if Graham plays, that's going to knock him down quite a bit, which I probably won't pay that much for him. But just keep your eyes out for the Devontae Graham news. Marquise Chris, he comes in at 6K. Don't love the matchup down low versus Toronto. If you look at the DVP chart, Toronto does rank, if I can find them, 3rd versus big men, so that does concern me. They do rank 17th versus power forwards. But I still don't mind Chris here, because he's only 6K, which I shouldn't say only. 6K seems fair for him. But he's pretty good point per minute wise. 1.12 points per minute, 19% usage rate. Now, it's not the big of sample size this year with Steph Curry on the court. It's going to probably hurt him a little bit, but I still think he's going to be fine. He should play around 30 minutes. I think he's probably going to get you around 30 fantasy points. So, Marquise Chris, I think you could do worse than Marquise Chris. Serge Ibaka, no idea if the guy's going to play yet. I just have him for some low minutes right now. If he's good to go, and I think I also have Marc Gasol listed as, okay, yeah, I have Marc Gasol listed as in. So if Gasol's out, obviously you're going to up Ibaka's minutes to around 30, because as of right now, I got Gasol for closer to 30. They're both questionable. I have no idea if they're going to play. That's why I'm trying to go over scenarios with you guys. But let's say that Marc Gasol misses this game and Serge Ibaka plays. Yeah, we're really going to like Serge Ibaka, because he's going to get around 30 minutes. He's only 6K. You love the matchup versus Golden State. We already went over this. It's going to be a pretty fast-paced game. Not as fast as that Rockets game, but still pretty darn fast. Much faster than that Charlotte-Denver game. And on the year, Ibaka's at 1.11 points per minute with a 24.4% usage rate. He would be a very, very good play. Now, the thing is, last time I played Ibaka, he had the worst game. One of the worst games I've ever seen in my life. He was 1 for 10 from deep. He looked trash. He looked trashy, I should say, but I'm willing to go back to the well as long as Gasol's out. If Gasol's in and Ibaka's in, I'll probably pass. But if Gasol's out and Ibaka's in, I'll have interest. If they're both out, we have another conversation. That would up my likings of Siakam. But I feel like one of those guys will at least be in. Paul Millsap, he comes in at 4,600. We took a pretty big price dump there. We went from 6K to 4,600, but I didn't really see one in the 5K tier I liked too much. So figured we just not list people to list people. So, but Millsap I do have interest in, just because he's a big man. Yeah, he's a big man. Versus Charlotte, I already talked about with Jokic. Obviously, Millsap's not as good as Jokic, nor does he have the upside. But Millsap's pretty cheap at 4,600. And this matchup versus Charlotte's just downright elite. Love it. They rank 26 versus power forwards. And if you look at Millsap's numbers on the season, he's 1.02 points per minute. 20% usage rate. If he gets around 25 minutes, I think it's a safe bet. You can get 25 to 30 fantasy points, because you got to up it a little bit with this matchup. So certainly have some interest in Paul Millsap. All right, now we got another Raptor, Marc Gasol. Again, no idea who's going to play on the Raptors team. I have no idea. So let's go through some scenarios. So if both Marc Gasol and Serge Ibaka play, it's a little rough. I do like the price on Gasol though, 4,400. I mean, he's averaging 27 minutes per game. Got him for 27 here. I think he'd be a fine play, especially versus Golden State if they're both in, because I do have him for close to 30 minutes now. If Ibaka's out and Gasol's in, that's probably one of the easier plays on the slate at 4,400. So again, we'll have to keep our eyes open for the injury news. I have no idea, but if Ibaka's out, Gasol's in. Love Gasol. If they're both in, I still think Gasol's fine. If Gasol's out, you can't play Gasol. And if Gasol and Ibaka's out, again, you can up Siakam's likings. You pretty much just up everyone on the roster's liking because that's a lot of usage and point per minute rates that are off the court. Even Boucher's fine. Hollis Jefferson, he did nothing in the last game. He barely even played. And then you got a couple of other guys. So just things to monitor. Cody Zeller, he dropped the start in the last game. Ended up playing 19 minutes. Bismack Biyombo actually ended up getting more minutes than him. I believe he played 22 minutes compared to Zeller's 19, but Zeller was fine. He was really, really cheap, though, but he still did fine. I mean, we're all assuming he's going to get more minutes. I think I had him for around 25 minutes of that game. Obviously, he didn't get there, so his minutes can be pretty sporadic. We'll have to see who gets the start tonight. But assuming he does, and he gets over 20 minutes, I think he's fine despite the bad matchup versus Denver. He's over a point per minute guy, 1.04 points per minute, the 20% usage rate. Cheap double-double upside at 4,300. Then the last guy, Mike Scott. Just kidding. Actually, not the last guy we're gonna talk about. I forgot about a couple of other value plays I liked. PJ Tucker, Jalen McDaniels, Caleb Martin, and Cody Martin, who's actually 4,500. So we'll touch on them. I don't know. I just forgot to put them on here in the initial run, but fortunately we didn't really pass over. They were all cheaper. So anyway, Mike Scott, he's been starting. He's been playing around 30 minutes, and he's been playing pretty well the past two games. He scored 28 points and 30 points, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's never fun rostering Mike Scott, but he's still pretty cheap. I mean, he's got a cool name, Michael Scott, Mike Scott. I mean, it's cool enough. And, I mean, if you look at his numbers in the season, though, they're terrible. 0.69 points per minute, 13.7% usage rate. But those numbers obviously go up quite a bit if you take Embiid off, Simmons off, Richardson off. Those numbers, okay, believe it or not, closer to a point per minute. Not quite there, but closer. So I think he's fine. I mean, he's been playing pretty well, and again, just an expanded role, going to play 25 to 30 minutes. I don't mind Mike Scott. If you're in a pinch, you can throw in Mike Scott. You could do worse. PJ Tucker, 3,700. Speaking of guys that suck point per minute wise, PJ Tucker and Mike Scott, man, these guys are just legends in that category, as is Caleb Martin. But again, all these guys, that were not really PJ Tucker, but most of these guys are getting bumps with guys missing. But PJ Tucker, he just kind of sucks in general. 0.63 points per minute, and there's no one off the court for Houston. This is just his regular numbers, and an 8.7% usage rate. At least Mike Scott's got the decency to get double-digit usage rate. PJ Tucker's still in those single digits, but he's okay. 3,700 matchup versus the Clippers as a center is good. I don't know, he's not really your prototypical center, so that's kind of concerning, but they do rank 22nd versus the position, and I do want to expose you to this game. Maybe he knocks down a couple corner threes. I'm telling you guys, if he doesn't knock down those corner threes, he's probably not going to be a good play because he's going to need those to help boost his floor a little bit. So if you're playing him, you're banking on him hitting some of those threes, getting a couple rebounds, lucking into a steal or a block, maybe getting a lucky assist. It's not pretty rostering PJ Tucker. If you do, close your eyes, don't look at that box score, and just hope at the end of the game you see that he made 2 or 3 threes. And if he does, you're probably going to be fine at 3,700. So, PJ Tucker, you know what you're getting out of him. It's a gross, ugly play, but sometimes it pays off. And then Jalen McDaniels and Caleb Martin. These guys are contingent on Devontae Graham news. If Devontae Graham misses, they'll get some extended minutes. And both guys actually did pretty well last game. They played closer to 30 minutes, and both guys did well. Yeah, but again, this game environment sucks. I don't like that. But again, all these guys are going to get boost. McDaniels has been okay point per minute wise this season, 0.8 points per minute. Martin's been awful, 0.63 points per minute. But they're going to get a big minutes boost if Devontae Graham misses. And the same thing can be said for Cody Martin, who would be the safer bet for minutes, and 4,500. I believe he played over 30 minutes in the last game, ended up playing pretty well. Now, again, he sucks point per minute wise, only 0.74 points per minute. But if you take the Devontae Graham, Malik Monk off the court, again, these numbers are going to go up for these Charlotte Hornets guys. I know they're never a fun roster, but they certainly should be on your radar if Graham is out, and obviously Monk's going to be out. So, Again, guys, that's going to be it for this breakdown. But before we get out of here, I do want to talk about the sponsor, OverlayDFS.com. Alright, guys, if you watch my videos, you already know what this is, and hopefully you have signed up and played over there. But if you're new, this is OverlayDFS.com. Really fun website to play DFS on. It's a nice breath of fresh air compared to Draftkings. Draftkings, it's a real grind. I love it. I enjoy it. I love breaking it down, but it can be a grind. You got to build lineups. You got to, worry about salaries all day. A bunch of stuff. You know what I mean if you're playing Draftkings. But over here on Overlay, it's just a pick'em based website. It's as simple as that. So, just an example, this is from a couple of nights ago. So if you get these matchups and you got to pick whoever you think is going to score the most points in each matchup. So we got Fred VanVleet versus Eric Bledsoe. If you thought VanVleet was going to outscore Bledsoe, you picked FVV. If you thought Hayward was going to outscore Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you picked Hayward. Obviously, that wasn't the case that night. But if you thought Fox was going to outscore Wiggins, you played Fox. It's as simple as that, guys. And if you finish in the top 10% of the contest, you win 9 extra money. And I think that's one of the best things about Overlay is their payout structure. Top 10% wins 9x their money. So 9 extra money on DraftKings, you got to win the whole thing sometimes. And even sometimes if you don't win the whole thing, you don't even 9 extra money. So I know, for example, there's like $75 single entry out there. If you win first place, you get $400. I mean, I think it's a cool payout structure. It's one of my favorite contests on DraftKings, but you're not even 9xing your money if you win the whole thing. So love their payout structure here on Overlay DFS. And they also have really cool challenges they have within their contest. So, for example, this is the $22 Double Deuce contest. So, if you go 12-0 here, you can win over $15,000. We are like 97-day carryover. It's going to hit eventually. So, someone's going to hit it. Why not you? I'm hoping it's me, but if it's not me, hopefully it's one of you guys watching this video. So, do not miss out on the chance to win over $15,000 by going 12-0 on your picks. People have been close. As you can see, this guy went 10-2 that night. I saw one guy go 11-1 and just went one easy pivot. Man. Felt bad for him. Didn't feel too bad though because I like the 15,000. But yeah, I did feel bad for him. But yeah, it's really fun. Do not miss out on the chance. $15,000 on a $22 investment. I'm not saying it's easy to do. Obviously, it's not easy to do, but I think the opportunity, given the investment's pretty darn good. So try it out, guys. And they also have a couple of other cool challenges like the Slump Buster Challenge, where if you lose 20 days in a row, not consecutive, but say you play once a week for 20 weeks in a row, twice a week for 10 weeks. I'm not going to even go further than that in math because I can't do it in my head. But say you lost every single time, they'll refund every single dollar that you deposited. So they're basically daring you guys to lose. And if you go 0-12 on your picks, they will give you $500. It's as simple as that. So try it out, guys. OverlayDFS.com. No promo code required. No link. No anything. Just go over there, sign up, and have fun. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. Hope it was helpful. If it was, remember to leave a like. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Really helps me out. Really appreciate it. Baseball's coming up. I'm excited for that. NASCAR is coming up this weekend. And then we got NBA every single day, so I'm excited. Hopefully you guys are too. And that's going to be it. I'm signing off. And enjoy your Thursday. Yeah, enjoy your Thursday.